All right. Well, one more story here, and this will probably take us to the end.
All right.
One of my favorite subjects, the Confederate flag.
What? You?
Yes.
I'm stunned by this.
Well, I'm still of a mind that when I see Confederate flag, it doesn't say racist, hates black people. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
What?
Yeah, I do. That's my personal thoughts on that.
I always thought that.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Every time I saw a Confederate flag ever, I thought, nigger hater.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always what I thought.
An African-American woman filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against her former employer, alleging the owners gave her a purse bearing a Confederate flag with photos inside of her boss posing with other Confederate paraphernalia. What kind of an employer gives anybody, whether it's black, white, whatever, and say, hey, here's a purse, and by the way, inside there's photos of me posing with Confederate paraphernalia?
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
That's just bizarre, especially when there's tangible evidence to take to, to a lawyer and go, look at this. It's the same thing with people sending selfies, kind of like Anthony Weiner.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great name, Weiner. Sending out selfies, texting and shit, when that can be traced right back to you.
Of course.
At what point does that ever make any sense for anybody to do that, no matter what it is that you're doing?
It's probably not the best thought.
Yeah. What are you doing? The photographs appeared to show the owners, Kenneth Hayden, dressed as Donald Trump, and his wife, Anita, with Confederate symbols with the slogan, "The Southland shall rise again."
All right.
Okay. So far, I'm not seeing anything racial there.
Not yet.
That's all an interpretation. Racial.
Right.
The plaintiff, Tishay, Tishay, is that how would you say that?
Tishay, is that his first name or last name?
That's her name. Tishay. Tishay?
Tishay? Okay.
Tishay.
Like Tisha, but spelled fucked up?
Yeah, I guess.
Fucked up?
You're right, exactly. I'm surprised she didn't have a third name in there.
Yeah.
She worked for the Southland Construction in Pleasanton, California, a San Francisco Bay Area suburb.
Okay.
Okay. Now, mind you that the construction company was called Southland Construction.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
The note that they allegedly put in the Confederate flag bag said, "The Southland shall rise again."
Okay.
You follow that at all?
Yeah, I got it.
Because in the South, if you ask, Steve Jackson, they always say the South shall rise again. Well, being that this is construction company is called Southland, they're capitalizing on that old saying and say the Southland shall rise again.
Right.
Follow that? Mm-hmm. So they're using it as a catchphrase.
Okay.
Okay. Not seeing anything racial here yet.
No.
After joining the firm in June of 2015 as a project administrator, Wright said in her lawsuit that she repeatedly heard the Haydens make derogatory comments about minorities.
Okay.
She allegedly heard them saying such things as, "We'll make the Mexicans do it," and making fun of Hispanic accents in front of Latino employees, according to her complaint.
Okay.
Okay. Now, mind you, this is a black woman.
It's Tishay.
Yeah, but she's complaining that they're saying something about the Spanish-speaking or Hispanic or Mexican folks.
Well, you have to hate the white man first and foremost, Neely. Once you get that through your head that she's doing her job by hating the white man, then all of this makes sense.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
In November, Wright said Kenneth Hayden summoned her and another female employee into his office and told them, "You all are my bitches," before discussing a task. After complaining about the language, she said tensions rose between her and the Haydens.
Well,
during the office Christmas party, Wright said Kenneth Hayden handed her a gift. She unwrapped it and found a rhinestone-studded purse of the Confederate flag and several photos of the Haydens posing with Confederate symbols.
Okay.
See, this is where I have an issue, because this is the assumption that if it shows Confederate, that automatically means racist.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree with that.
Okay. I don't agree with it necessarily, but you know what? It's pretty dumb to fucking try to force your point as the owner of a company.
Well, I agree with you there. But my point is that because somebody displays or, has the Confederate flag, that does not mean nigger hater.
No.
But the thing is that according to this story, when the Confederate flag is a point of interest, that automatically means nigger hater.
Well, it's the same. Really what this boils down to, though, is that it always comes back to the people don't stand up for themselves. That's why our boy Rick Camuglia, right? Camuglia?
Yeah, I noticed he left a comment on the CMS page.
Oh, did he?
About the 3 million downloads.
Yeah, okay. Well, my point is when the media, which is who it was, tried to stir up on him about Black Lives Matter, he was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And he didn't put up with it. And guess what? The story went away.
It did.
More and more people need to just say, "You know what? Fuck you."
But
the guy that owns this company, Southland, whatever, he should be like, "Fuck off." That's what I did. Suck my dick.
Well, see, this goes back to another point. When people, the media or whoever it is, brings up this man-made global warming, the thought process is that, well, this is a fact and it should be accepted. And if you say, "I don't believe that," you're somehow you're a denier.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what makes me a denier? There's no proof of this at all. None. Just because you believe it or because it's widely accepted as a myth, and I say I don't believe it, that doesn't make me a denier. That's just saying I have my thoughts, you have your thoughts.
Dude, I take your side on most things. But I saw this week that God told Al Gore that there is global warming.
Right.
So therefore, with the word of God reaching into Al Gore, I think you're wrong on this one.
Okay. But my point is that if you have an opposing opinion, somehow you're castigated for it.
Yeah. And that comes down to personal responsibility. If you take that castigation, then you should be fucking shit on.
Right.
If somebody shits on you about any kind of an opinion,
or
and
you become a toilet slave,
yeah, then that's what you are. You're the guy that sits over a guy or a chick fucking shitting in your fucking mouth.
Right.
You need to fucking say, "You know what? Fuck you." You need to punch her in the colon.
Exactly.
And tell her, "Fuck you. I'm not hearing your bullshit. I don't care what you think.
I'm not swallowing your feces anymore there, pal."
Yeah. Don't shop here. Tell all your friends to fucking boycott. Go for it. But I'm not changing what I got to fucking say. And if more people did that, this kind of fucking liberal faggotry would go away.
Exactly. Well, so far...
Jesus, God.
So far, what I've read here, I have not seen anything that is racial.
Okay.
Have you heard anything that's considered racial aside from the fact that this,
making fun of the Mexican accent maybe a little bit.
But displaying the Confederate flag or giving away gifts that have the Confederate flag on it, does that automatically mean racist?
Not to me.
Doesn't mean that to me either. CNN reached out to the Southland Construction and the Hydens for comment on Thursday, but they did not get a response.
Okay.
No one should be treated this way in America in 2017, Wright said in a statement. This is not Alabama in the 1940s. This country is going backwards, and it has to stop.
Shut up.
Alabama in the 1940s?
Shut up. Is that like a veiled reference to Dylan Roof with his thing and shooting up the church?
Well, again, I don't know, because the thing is that everybody thinks that, well, it's just commonly known or widely accepted that this is a racist thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is outside of the media, there are varying opinions or thought processes behind that.
Right. So they're comparing this to Selma, Alabama.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're comparing this to the former governor of Alabama, Spiro Agnew.
Yeah.
Who, he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And, all that stuff. But the thing is that the Confederate flag, as controversial as it has become, means different things to different people. It doesn't automatically make it a racist symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't. It's how you interpret it to be.
Right. Well, how do you interpret the people taking down the Civil War monuments?
See, I think that's denying history.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like what are you trying to cover up? I mean, the fact is the Civil War happened.
Sure.
The fact is that there was a separation between the North and the South. The fact is that a General Lee did exist.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that, some of the southern states who erected these monuments, they weren't saying General Lee needs to be hailed as a hero because he hated the niggers. That's not what. It's just a memorial. That's exactly what it is. It's a memorial to history.
Right.
It doesn't mean, well, General Lee was right and he was on the right side of history or he was on the wrong. It doesn't matter. The fact is, it's just this. It happened.
Right.
What are you going to do? Are you going to cover this up by removing monuments now?
How long before it comes out of the history books?
Oh, soon.
You think it's coming out?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Political correctness has run so rampant. And I'm not saying that and the thing is that everybody goes, well, the Civil War was about slavery. Well, it wasn't about slavery. It had a component there, yes, but it was about states' rights is what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody wants to put the most negative spin on everything.
Well, yeah.
And it's just like it was,
bitch.
Yeah, it was about a whole bunch of issues per se. It wasn't a one issue war.
Right.
It wasn't it. Do I condone slavery? No. But was the Civil War something that actually happened? Yeah, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Can't deny it. It took place. And there are historical monuments or things that did take place and that they are part of our heritage as a country.
Sure.
So removing monuments and all this is not going to make that go away, regardless of how right or wrong it may have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this happened.
Yeah. Well, before long, the Muslims will want the 9/11 stuff taken down.
You're probably right about that.
For 9/11.
Well, we gotta sweep that under the carpet too.
Yeah, we got to get rid of that because the Muslims are upset about that. They don't want to be related to such a tragedy.
Yeah.
That was really just payback for what their people have suffered.
Sure.
Fuck off.
Of course.
Just fuck off.
Wright was terminated from her job in March, according to the lawsuit. Her suit alleges racial and gender discrimination. Well, see, here's the thing. If this company, and again, I'm not defending this company, but I'm just going by what the facts that this story is reporting.
Mm-hmm.
If this company was racist, as she claims, she would have never got hired in the first place.
Well, I don't know that I'd agree with that.
Why not? Why wouldn't you agree with that?
Because it would depend on if there's a quota for a tax break.
Oh, let's go with quotas now. Okay.
I'm just saying. If I didn't want to hire a black chick but I would get a tax break, believe me, black chick is hired. Fuck yeah. That's the way of the world, dude. It's about keeping as much money as you can.
I'm aware of that, believe me. Her suit alleges that racial and gender, okay, discrimination, harassment, retaliation, failure to prevent discrimination, assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and wrongful termination.
Wow.
Why? Because they gave her a handbag with a Confederate flag on it?
Yeah. She's deeply wounded.
Exactly. So here we go. It's just like, well, Confederate flag, automatically racist.
Apparently.
And the thing is again, as somebody who's traveled, I didn't live there, but I've traveled south and spent a lot of time down there. Those people who live in the South, be it Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, any one of those states.
Yeah.
Most of those people are proud of whatever their heritage is. That is, their resourcefulness. I'm just going to put it that way. Their resourcefulness and their way of life. Doesn't mean nigger hater. It just means that we separated ourselves away from the big city folk of the North.
Right.
That's it. Most of them. I'm not saying there aren't any racists in the South. I'm just saying that most of the people, at least the ones that I've personally come in contact with, that's their attitude. And I was not accepted down there as a white guy. Most of them referred to me as Yankee.
Well, yeah. Get out of our place.
But I certainly wasn't a black guy. They were castigating or not accepting as somebody who could live among them. They referred to me as a Yankee. They would say, "Oh, you're a Yankee.
You're a white man. You're inherently bad. Why don't you see that?"
Okay. But the thing is I didn't go, racial discrimination. I went,
yeah, because they would have ignored you because you're a white guy.
Exactly.
You get all the privileges.
Exactly. But I spent a little time in the South, in southern Kentucky and Tennessee a little bit, and the people that I did meet down there, when I did speak to them and we kind of discussed, well, where are you from and what do you do? And I told them where I'm, oh, you're a Yankee. I didn't go, man, I feel out of place here. I feel that you're flying that Confederate flag and you're against me, man.
Yeah, man.
I didn't feel that way at all.
I think you should have.
I should have sued.
Yeah, you should have sued somebody.
Because my feelings were hurt and shit.
Maybe there's still time.
Please. I don't get it, but that's the world we live in, my friend. I don't agree with it, but that's how it goes.
Right.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up another show.
All right, good. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I know that our friend Josh Toomey is listening in.
He is.
And I did read a few comments via the YouTube and via the Facebook and whatnot. I see that people are still reeling from the commentary that I made on the death of Chris Cornell.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, I've picked up the what do you want to call the reputation of being the bitter, hateful guy on the show.
Well, better you than me.
That people are saying now I'm starting to sound like Neely because of some of the, what do you want to call it? The less than positive comments.
Yeah, look at you. You've taken my spot.
I have, and that's kind of the parallel that I was drawing here, that somehow I'm now the bitter, hateful guy.
Yeah, and I'm the happy-go-lucky one, apparently.
Yeah. So I've seen a few of those comments out there. Now I'm sounding like Neely.
Well, there you go.
So apparently I'm the bitter, hateful guy now.
Well, congratulations, man. We'll have to get Angry Anderson back on the line to knight you as well.
I would imagine that'd be the case.
Could you be Angry Neely?
Angry Neely. It just doesn't have the same. It just doesn't have the ring to it, though.
What would work for you? Nasty?
Nah, Nasty's kind of Janet Jackson-ish.
Nasty woman.
Yeah, that's kind of Janet Jackson-ish.
Yeah.
It's Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Nasty.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
Nigger hater?
Yeah, that's me, Neely the nigger hater. But I think Phil Ooze kind of like threw that at me, or even Norge threw that at me a while ago. But I don't know that it really is the case either.
Could we just change you from Wendell Neely to Donnie Doover?
Donnie Doover. I don't know that fits either.
I don't think so either, but I like that.
All right.
Donnie Doover.
Okay. All right. Well, our friend Josh Toomey has requested a closing track. We're going to play it. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in and be part of the show tonight. And when is the Watchers thing? That's 2 weeks, right? From tonight?
2 weeks, 23rd.
Yeah.
It's me and you got to discuss what we're going to do on that, because it's on the Friday.
Yeah.
We're supposed to broadcast it on the Saturday.
Okay.
But I'm thinking maybe we do a live show that Saturday and we broadcast it July 8th.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter.
That way we only don't have a live show once instead of twice.
Well, whatever works, it works for me.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to leave you with something from the Great Southern Trendkill release from Pantera.
All right.
And I got a request for some 13 Steps to Nowhere.
Perfect.
And where does it take you, Chris? You're a Pantera fan. What is the cryptic meaning behind 13 Steps to Nowhere?
I don't know. Honestly, I never looked at the lyrics that close.
All right. Well, we're going to leave you with some Pantera. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for the 3 million downloads. We're on to our 4 million downloads now.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're almost there.
Yeah.
9 months from now.
Yeah, let's shorten it up a little bit. Let's go with 6 months now.
Yeah, let's go.
Before the end of the year, let's get another million.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Twice, you fucks.
Exactly. All right, well, here it is. This is Pantera. So this is Neely along with my very good friend
Chris Hagan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids.
This is Philip H. Anselmo, and believe it or not, you're listening to the Classic Metal Show. Rock on.